These days, statistics have shown that divorce isn't that special anymore. In fact, 42% of the marriages in the UK are doomed to fail and end up in a divorce. But what would be the reason of this? And I can tell you, this number used to be a lot lower. According to Ed Connard, we do not take enough time to get to know our lover carefully. Over the years, society has developed these thoughts, where it's common that you rush into marriage. We don't bother to take the time that we actually need to get to know someone. So lots of trouble can be saved if you make the right decision, because the person you marry will be with you for the rest of your life. Therefore, we will be asking our love expert James some questions about marriage. Come with me. Good morning, James. What change in behavior have you seen over the past years in marrying someone too fast?
Well, when you marry too fast, you might get annoyed by each other. Statistics show that when you go home with reluctance, you will be more tired and less active at work. I'm not saying here that marrying is a bad thing, but it is a life-changing decision. So my advice would be to think twice and make a rational decision before marrying someone, because they will always be in your life.
Thanks for that, James. My next question is loving the person necessary to keep the relationship exciting and healthy?
I would say so, yes. If you don't love someone, why would you even bother to be with them? And maybe have a family with them? A relationship can always be exciting, but in order to make steps in a relationship and move on, you have to love each other. You can always just take the plunge, but you shouldn't expect a great relationship to be the outcome of that.
Alright, James. My next question is, if you love someone, is cheating something that can be forgiven?
When you really love a person, you won't cheat or be unfaithful to them. But when you do so under influence maybe of some kind of substance, I think that this is something that can be forgiven. But when the person really regrets cheating on you or being unfaithful towards you, you should be able to resolve the problem and move on. Maybe together or maybe alone, but in my opinion, everybody deserves a second chance.
James, if you think that cheating is something that can be forgiven, do you think that people should change themselves to find love?
No, most certainly not. If you aren't yourself in a relationship, you are always pretending to be someone else. When you're not yourself, you are going to feel uncomfortable after a while. This might result in a breakup or maybe a divorce. You just have to cut to the chase and show who you really are, so the other person can love you for who you really are.
Alright, my last question, James. What would your advice be for young couples that rush into marriage?
Don't rush anything. Take your time. Marriage is the biggest possible step in a relationship. When you rush getting married, it takes a lot of time and money. When you divorce, it takes even more money and time. My advice would be, however attractive marriage looks, think rationally and think twice before taking the plunge and marrying someone.
Thank you for your time, Bess. So to sum up, marriage is one of the best things that you can achieve in your life, due to the fact that you can get a place of your own with the man or woman that you love, and who you want to spend the rest of your life together with. You can get kids or a pet, and you can watch them grow up. Wouldn't that be amazing? But on the other hand, you have to make a thoughtful decision before you rush into anything, because marriage can go horribly wrong and end up in a horrible divorce.
Friday the 13th. It is still a feared day. However, not only by the rich, it is associated with extremely bad luck. Therefore, people have an increased feeling of anxiety on this day. I've got a couple of questions for you, Harry. First of all, what is the history behind this Friday the 13th?
Friday is basically just superstition. However, because it has been in our culture for such a long period of time, people are actually starting to believe that this day brings bad luck with it. So it's passed on to the next generation and we keep believing in it. Therefore, it has been engraved in our Western culture. So this kind of bad luck started with the Christian belief around the year 0. It started with the guy when Jesus had his last supper, with the guy Judas. Judas was the 13th guest at the supper, and he's the man who betrayed Jesus. So Jesus was crucified on a Friday. So, crucified on a Friday and betrayed by the 13th guest. That can't be a coincidence. So Friday the 13th. So people started asking themselves, is this a coincidence? Or does this day really cause bad luck? Good question.
Thank you for your answer, Harry. But why is this day associated with bad luck?
As I already stated, several events in the past that are associated with bad luck all have something to do with number 13 in combination with the day Friday. Therefore, it's not weird to think that there's a connection between these two. So Friday the 13th. As well, it's kind of weird that the number 13 is a little beyond completeness. This is due to the fact that the number 12 might be just perfect. Think about it. There's 12 months in a year, 12 gods of Olympus, and 12 apostles of Jesus.
Okay, thank you, Harry. But to what lengths do people go to stay safe on this Friday?
Surprisingly, some people aren't affected by this superstition at all. Nevertheless, there's a whole lot of people who plan this day in advance. They definitely do not step out their comfort zone. Because imagine they go outside and they see a black cat on the street. In their case, that will mean 7 years of bad luck. That's why they'll do everything they possibly can to stay inside, where there are no surprises waiting for them.
Alright. Is there anything you can do to overcome this fear or not be affected by the bad luck?
There really isn't one particular thing that is known to overcome this day and not be affected by the bad luck. Some say that taking more control of your life will decrease your anxiety feelings, and others say that you just have to go outside and face your fears. However, my advice would be doing what you think feels right. And maybe you could take a little risk sometime to try to overcome this fear and not be affected as much by the bad luck. I'm telling you, if you take more risks, you won't fear the next Friday the 13th.
Alright. Do you think Friday the 13th is already incorporated in society?
I believe Friday the 13th is not fully incorporated in our daily society. Most people don't even realize it's there. They'll just go to work and next day they'll look on the calendar and they'll be like, oh, yesterday was Friday the 13th. I didn't have any bad luck. But the people that do fear this day, time will not stop for you. You have got to face your fears. They'll just sit at home and maybe call in sick for work. Consequences of this are that the economy can be affected by this day. Because people will definitely take fewer risks. This is due to the fact that an unlucky scenario will play in their head, and they might say they do not believe in superstition, but believe me, they will be more careful. Buying stocks on the market, for example. Imagine the whole market collapsing. Better not take any risks. But I believe you should take risks, because it has been in our culture for so many years. It doesn't mean it's right. You just gotta take risks. You just gotta be a risk taker. You can do it. I believe in you. So my last advice for everyone is to stay safe and take a little risk from time to time. Goodbye.
Thank you for your cooperation, Harry.